So I've been juggling about 1,000 different projects all at once, and I thought for this video it might be fun to bring you along for a typical day in my work week. Let's do it. So I'm here in my home studio at my computer where I do most of my work. I got the window open, so if you hear birds and cars and stuff, it's too nice of a day not to have the windows open. I'm joined by my puppy, Ollie. Yes, hello, puppy. Hello. And yeah, today's kind of an exciting day because I think if I can get all my work done, I will be releasing my very first tabletop role-playing game. Now, if you've seen my videos before, you know that I've written a bunch of stuff for games, story type stuff, but this is my first system that I've made, set of rules that I've made for a Ghostbusters themed, inspired game. I spent all week writing and tinkering with it. It's definitely very far from complete, but it's enough of a rule set to be able to play. So now I'm gonna start laying it out in InDesign. Actually, you know what? Before I jump into computer work, I want to do some drawing. And speaking of another project that I've neglected, these are monsters. Each of these pages is a monster from the monster manual. It's time for me to jump back into drawing these. So I'm gonna start my day off by drawing, what's next? I think a Hobgoblin Warlord. So this project I'm working on, I'm trying to draw every single monster in the monster manual. I'm about halfway through, and if I do one almost every day like I plan to, I should be done somewhere between 3 and 4 months from now, which actually doesn't seem like that long of a time considering I still have 100 and something monsters left to draw. The idea is that every day I post a new monster from the monster manual on my Instagram stories. So if you want to follow along, go check out my Instagram account. There's a link down in the description. And yeah, this is just my attempt to do a little bit of drawing by hand every day and stack up a big project over the course of a year and a few months now. Okay. Add one more thing to the list of things to do today. The shipment of Patreon zines just showed up. The Plum Wax Kobolds have arrived. I'm extremely excited on how this month's zine turned out. Now that they're here, I gotta start shipping them out to all my patrons. All my patrons. Okay, so I know it was a quick cut, but I have just been sitting here flipping through the Plum Wax Kobolds, Flick Silverpin's Guide to the Plum Wax Kobolds, and I'm just so happy with how this thing turned out. Here's the first page spread of it. There's a big old map from a past video, some information about the underground, some adventure hooks, and then it gets into the actual kobolds and stuff. So yeah, every month I make one of these zines for my Patreon. It's a little fantasy adventure that you can run. Usually they take 1, 2, maybe 3 sessions worth of play to get through. This one is all about a system of sort of random underground caverns that are inhabited by a bunch of crazy kobolds. And now that I have them in hand, I can start shipping them out. So yeah, mail day like this is always exciting. To get to hold a month's worth of work in your hands is pretty fun. But before I get to shipping these out, I really want to work on this, I think I'm gonna call it Ecto Inc. Ecto Inc. tabletop role-playing game. So I'm gonna start laying out that zine. Is it gonna be a zine? I don't know. PDF. I'm gonna lay out that PDF. Okay, so a few hours later, it is now dark outside. I got some pizza in my belly, and I am finished with the layout of Ecto Inc. So right now, it's super bare bones. It's kind of first draft layout. It's not proofread or playtested or anything. This is gonna be like the beta version of the game. And there's no artwork, but I am going to design a quick little cover. So that's the next step. And then I'm gonna consider this project done for now. I'm gonna post it on the Patreon, get some feedback on it before going any further. I want to make sure that this game is actually fun to play. I don't know yet, so yeah. Let's draw the cover and I'll tell you a little bit more about the game. So Ecto Inc. is a tabletop role-playing game. There's a GM or Ghost Master that runs the game, describes the world, acts as all the non-player characters, and then there are the players who make characters, build a team, and they go and investigate paranormal activity and then hopefully capture and dispose of some ghosts. It's a rules light game, so I tried to make this as simple and as straightforward as possible. So there's only 3 stats. There's body, brains, and soul, and you assign a dice, a d6, a d8, and a d10 to each one of those stats, and you can kind of customize your character depending on how brainy or brawny or connected with the spirit world you want them to be. There's a bunch of gadgets that your team shares. You kind of divide up all of the gadgets so you can have an effective team. You can work together to find and capture these ghosts that are causing trouble all around town. Everybody gets a proton pack, and you can change the charge of your particle thrower to battle different types of ghosts. So the ghosts only have 1 stat, so part of the game is figuring out what kind of ghost you're dealing with, and then you can change your particle thrower to effectively capture that type of ghost. And at this point, that's really all there is to it. There's still a lot of stuff I'd like to add, like an advancement, a leveling system, a morale calculator, and then a way that a GM can quickly and easily make up new gadgets as well as new ghosts. And then obviously I would really like to write a starting campaign for this. So maybe the rules will be in one book, and then the starting campaign and all the ghosts and stuff will be in another book. And maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because I don't know if this game is actually fun yet. But I'll tell you what is gonna be fun is drawing a bunch of ghosts and gadgets. I can't wait to do more of that. All right. Here is Ecto Inc. The PDF is all finished. Real simple layout, like I said. No artwork or anything. Basic, bare bones, but hopefully people think it's cool. And if you want to check it out, there's a link down in the description to my Patreon. You have to sign up because I'm making this exclusive to my patrons. But yeah, I think I'm pretty excited about how this turned out. It's kind of a whirlwind of making this thing. I'm glad that it's finished and I think playable. If you do sign up and check out Ecto Incorporated, please let me know what you think. I can't wait to get some actual feedback on this game. If this project just turns out to be a fun little distraction for a few days, that's cool. But if it does turn into something bigger, that would be awesome as well. To do that, I definitely need to get some feedback on it and do some play testing and that sort of thing. Now that that's all done, the last thing I have to do today is ship out the Plum Wax Cobalt zines to the patrons. So I'm gonna start sticking these bad boys into some envelopes. Okay. So I don't know if this is interesting, but this is my shipping closet. It's where I store all my books that I ship out when I get orders on my website. So up top I have all of my envelopes, got art supplies and business cards, and then shelves that hold all of the books and other supplies. I have these flat files that are filled with original artwork and more art supplies, all of my paper miniatures. I've got my cork board here that I keep meaning to fill up with all the enamel pins I have, and then just more storage stuff. So yeah, nothing fancy, pretty humble little setup I've got here, but it does the trick. If I haven't been sitting at my desk for long enough today, this is definitely gonna do it for me. So I've got envelopes, the zine, and the extras. Now I just gotta put them all together, print out labels, stick them on, done. So every month I like to include some sort of extra with the zine. This month it's a collection of little paper miniatures that you can cut out and fold. I'm actually incredibly surprised at the quality of these prints. The colors are insanely vibrant and the paper is like the perfect thickness for cutting and folding these miniatures. I'm just really happy with how these turned out. So one thing I'm not gonna get to today is putting together the Patreon shop. I don't know what I'm gonna call it yet. It's what is on my to-do list for tomorrow. Basically, I want to make every month's zines and the extras available to new patrons who are just finding out about this whole thing, but maybe feel like they missed out on old adventures. I want them to be able to purchase them so that they're not going to be available just on my regular website shop. It's going to be a completely new Patreon only shop. So yeah, again, I feel like this is just another giant ad for my Patreon, but you know, I'm having fun with it and I'm trying to make it super worth people signing up for. So yeah, I'll have the Plumwax Kobolds adventure and these miniatures, as well as the Shadespeare Mountains point crawl adventure. That was the month before, and I'm finishing up this month's adventure, which is Flick Silverpin's Guide to the City of Eternal Night. I might have gotten a little distracted with the Ecto Incorporated stuff, but this month's adventure is going to be awesome and super fun. Some of the characters in this month's zine are just going to be so weird and really enjoyable for a dungeon master to play. I'm really pumped to wrap this month's adventure up in the next few days. Okay, that wraps up this day. I hope you found it somewhat interesting, even though I was just sitting at my computer all day working. Pretty typical for how things go around here. I feel very lucky to be able to sit at my desk all day and create things that people are interested in. So thank you for watching this video and checking out the monsters that I draw, the adventures I do on Patreon, and this new Ecto Incorporated game. I just super appreciate everyone who watches these videos, and yeah, thank you. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!